All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the week you have been waiting for, Alabama-Georgia week, and we are hitting you with a game day preview. Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Crimson Tide taking on the Bulldogs Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Time kickoff. CBS will have the call on the game. I'm yours truly, Stephen M. Smith.
And I'm Patrick Dowd. But before we get into some Georgia talk, Stephen, it's been a crazy week of news leading up to the game. I mean, on Wednesday, we learned that Nick Saban's tested positive for COVID-19, but later on in the week, the school updates us that he's actually had his second test came back negative on Thursday, meaning adding more questions to the pot now.
I'm going to say this. Is Nick Saban a superhero? Is Nick Saban literally a superhero? Because like you mentioned, Pat, on Wednesday, it was crazy. I remember at 1 o'clock p.m., the news came out on head coach Nick Saban, also athletic director Greg Byrne. Both received a positive test result for COVID-19. Both of them alerted the program. Coach Saban alerted the players and the coaches. Both guys went home. Of course, Coach Saban has been working remotely from home. Now, his daughter, Kristen Saban, Cetus, dropped a tweet on social media talking about her dad's good. Coach Saban's okay. Asymptomatic, he's fine, not showing any symptoms. Then coach during his presser on Wednesday night, kind of the same thing. He was shocked that he even tested positive for COVID-19, but was feeling fine, no symptoms again. And then Thursday, got evaluated by the head athletic trainer and director of sports medicine, one Jeff Allen. That test came back negative, and it's just looking more and more with the speculation going around that Coach Saban is going to find his way to the football field. Now, right now, anything could happen, but right now, as it stands, Pat, it just looks like Coach Saban is going to find his way to this football field.
Well, just to be clear, he still needs to have 2 more negative tests to be deemed by the SEC eligible to return to the field. But, I mean, having a negative test after the positive one, it's definitely good news, especially if Nick Saban continues to show asymptomatic things. Then, I mean, there's no reason why he shouldn't be out there if he gets the tests correctly.
Absolutely. Now, according to, of course, as you mentioned, the SEC protocol here, you have to have 3 straight negative PCR tests, as well as remain asymptomatic, and then you can leave isolation, get back on the field, get back to rejoining the team. So we'll continue to monitor what's going on with Coach Saban in where these testings are concerned and the SEC protocol. But right now, a really good sign here from Coach Saban getting that negative test, trying to position himself back on the field here for the Crimson Tide against Georgia. Now, in the event that he cannot go this week, the lightning rod, or the microscope, as I should say, would be on 3 coaches: Steve Sarkisian, Pete Golding, and Charles Kelly. If Nick Saban cannot go, Pat, boy, these assistants got to step up now.
Yeah, and everyone's looking at Steve Sarkisian. Saban said in his first press release that he's handling pretty much all on-site preparations to Steve Sarkisian, and he noted that in his press conference that he has the most head coaching experience. You know, he was the head coach of Washington, USC. You know, not too many big bowl wins, but still, he has the most experience on the staff, especially when considering he's done a great job at offensive coordinator. But, you know, the offense really isn't the worry for Alabama. It's kind of the defense, especially after the performance they gave against Ole Miss last week.
Absolutely, and people are really concerned about that side of the football. Pete Golding, as defensive coordinator, not his finest work through 16 games and being the full-time DC. 13 games last year, of course, 3 this year. It's been a struggle for that side of the football. But the good news here is, if Coach Saban is not able to go, this puts a huge responsibility on Charles Kelly. And a lot of people don't recognize this. Charles Kelly, big defensive play calling experience. He's got 11 years of experience, 9 of those at the collegiate level. He was the DC at Georgia Tech, big program. He was also the DC for Florida State for 4 years, big program, 2014 through 2017, and he had some dogs there for the Seminoles, whether it was DeMarcus Walker, a sack specialist, Brian Burns, Josh Sweat, Jacob Pugh, Derek Nadee, the likes of also Jalen Ramsey and Derwin James. He had some transcendent talents.
Okay, players, decent players.
They were good players. They were good players, Pat. They were good players.
Decent, right?
2016, Florida State that year, 51 sacks, finished behind Alabama that had 54. And then Charles Kelly's 4 years with the Seminoles, 46 picks, including 4 returns for touchdowns. So Kelly's got a lot of experience here. But the thing will be, Pat, as you know as well as I do, getting the right personnel in the field. Bama's got to have the right personnel in the field for this football game. It's got to also simplify the game plan. Don't have the players do too much, think too hard. See the ball, react, go attack, go make the play there in the defensive backfield, go make the play there on the opposing player. And then last but not least here, making sure the signals are clean, the calls are clean, signals are clean, putting these players in an opportunity here to be successful. But we all know Nick Saban's presence makes a big deal, absolutely. But even if he's not there, that's got to do something for these players to make them have that little extra fire, because it's not like Saban to not miss a game on the field. And I know he's dealing with trying to get back out there, getting the two more negative tests here for the COVID testing. But for these players, it's got to be, if coach ain't out here on this field, I'm going all in.
I mean, it's definitely got to give them a little bit of some sort of a boost, knowing that their coach is not going to be able to be there and how badly he wants to be there and coach the game. I know he mentioned in one of his radio shows that he wants the SEC to have a little bit better protocols when letting coaches who have tested positive participate during the game. So, I mean, he wants to be out there. The players know that. I think they're going to play hard for him regardless.
Absolutely. So you look at the three coaches that will be under the microscope this week. If in the event Coach Saban cannot be out there, Steve Sarkisian, Pete Golding, and also one Charles Kelly. But as we look at this Georgia matchup here, this is a big matchup, game of the year type of ordeal. ESPN College Game Day already in Tuscaloosa. We've seen some great matchups between these two schools in the past. The two most notable ones, though, for 2018 college football playoff title game, where Tua Tagovailoa comes off the bench in the second half, freshman then, and the Hawaiian Magic got the job done in overtime. The 41-yard rainbow to Devontae Smith, the biggest emotional mood swing of Nick Saban's life. Alabama won 26-23. And in the 2018 SEC title game, some redemption for Jalen Hurts. He comes off the bench in the second half and is able to bail out Tua Tagovailoa and the team, helping Alabama get that 35-28 victory. But in this matchup, Pat, Georgia's got some offense. They got a good coordinator in Todd Monken coming over from the NFL. Georgia's got some offense here.
Oh, yeah, when you look at their offense, it's really a pro-style approach from them. And honestly, it looks like a traditional Alabama offense that Kirby Smart.
Really now?
I mean, well, back not recently, but but a few years ago, yes. You know, they're committed to the run game with Kenny McIntosh and Zamir White. They ran the ball 50 times against Tennessee last week, and that's going to be a big part of their offense that Alabama needs to stop. And it struggled a lot against Ole Miss last week. They need to clean that up this week and get that under control. In the passing game, I mean, Stetson Bennett, he's been getting the job done so far. You know, I think we talked before it. A lot of his plays have come from underneath routes to George Pickens and Kyrus Jackson and relying on them to make plays. But, I mean, it's really a steady offense, methodical, grind you out. They really rely on their defense, though.
Absolutely. So Alabama's going to have to really, Alabama's defense is going to have to really stop that run game, as you mentioned, giving up 151 yards rushing in the last three matchups. Not Alabama football. But Georgia's defense, Kirby Smart takes a lot of pride in this defense, and he's bringing in one of the best defenses in the country, if not the best in the nation, but the best defense in the SEC when you look at giving up 12.3 points per game, giving up 236.7 yards a game, a third down defense. They're only allowing a 28.3% conversion rate on third down, and they're giving up 38.3 rush yards per game. But this defense, I mean, you look at, Aziz Ujulari, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, 5 tackles for loss for him, 3 sacks. You've got him. You've got Nolan Smith. You've got Nakobe Dean. And both of those two guys were two guys that Alabama targeted heavy on the recruiting trail before they ended up going to the University of Georgia. There's Monty Rice, their leading tackler, 18 tackles in the season. They've got Quay Walker. They got Jordan Davis. They got Malik Herring. Just so many guys, so many deep guys in this rotation, whether it's on the defensive line at the linebacker position, also in the secondary. There are guys, Eric Stokes, a veteran in that defensive backfield, and Richard LeCounte as well. So Kirby Smart hangs a lot on this defense. A lot will be hung on this defense in this game because it's got to go against Mac Jones, baby, that's having an incredible year. And a lot of people talked about what will he do against Georgia. This is the game that will solidify him for the Heisman conversation. If Mac Jones can go out here and touch up this Georgia secondary a little bit, huge opportunity for him. But Najee Harris, this is a game for him also, because he talked about it. I want to run on the best defense in the country. I want to pound and gash the best defense in the country. So here's a big game for Najee Harris. But also Alabama's offensive line, the group up front with Leatherwood, Deontay Brown, Dickerson, Ekiyor, and Neal. Can they neutralize this pass rush? Can they neutralize this run defense? Can it move guys off the football and create these opportunities inside Brian Denny? It should be a fun game.
Well, I can guarantee you one thing. Based off Kirby Smart and that defense past history with Alabama quarterbacks, I think they're watching tape of Bryce Young.
They probably are. They're probably watching Bryce Young and Paul Tyson, too, to flip the coin up there.
Can't do it again. Can't do it a third time. Can't do it.
Patrick down here, folks. Alabama, Georgia, this weekend, this matchup. So, Pat, we look at one point in time, there was a line on this game coming into this week. It was Alabama by 5, and then it was Alabama by 6 to 6.5. And I look back, where is the line, Patrick?
I think it's about 4.5, but that's without Coach Saban. Who knows where it's going to go, if he's going to be able to coach. So if I was a betting man, I'd just bet a money line pick. And for me personally, I would go with Alabama. It really is kind of a coin flip for me, but I'm going to go with Alabama in this one.
Pat going with Alabama in this one. I'm picking the Crimson Tide myself. Going to be interesting to see, will Nick Saban be on this field? If he is, how will he make his appearance? Will he parachute down? Will he come through the side door? How will Nick Saban make his appearance here on this football field? Should he get the 2 more negative tests here in the COVID testing? But folks, Alabama, Georgia, this weekend, Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Time kickoff from Bryant-Denny Stadium. CBS will have the call of a tandem of Gary Danielson and Brad Nessler. For all of us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine, I'm Stephen M. Smith.
And I'm Patrick Dowd.
And we're going to see you guys next week.